This feels a little weird to me. It feels odd. It feels different. Howie Roseman, the magician. That's what we call him here in Philadelphia. He's amazing. He's done a tremendous job. I don't like this one. I really do not like this one. Now, Michael Bennett has been in the news, Good Morning Football, talking about how he wants actually a pay raise. He wants to get a raise. He thinks he deserves more money than the $7.2 million. Don't we all want a raise? Don't we all want a raise? But understanding where the Eagles are with the salary cap situation, it's been reported that we were either going to trade him or just release him and let him walk. This is a very productive guy at the age of 33 going on to 34. Like he was very productive, and he was a reason why this defensive line started to get mojo and started to actually be successful at the second half of last season. He was a huge reason for our success. But with money involved and all that in the salary cap situation, it had to have been done by keeping Brandon Graham. But we trade him to the New England Patriots for a 2020 fifth rounder? And we give up a seventh, not that that matters, but so we get a 2020 fifth round pick back in exchange for Michael Bennett and a seventh rounder. Howie, I don't like it. I do not like it. Now, it's clear, it's pretty damn clear that this was just, let's get rid of him off our books. This was a 150% money decision. And we have to see what this leads to. I've talked about this in previous videos. Every single move that we make, it was the Brandon Graham video. Every move we make ends up being effective for another move. So I need to wait and see what we get in return, or in regards to free agency, in regards to the draft. And everyone keeps talking about how precious this defensive line draft is. We need to hit on these guys. We need to actually get the talent. There could be as many guys in the draft as you want them to be. If we pick the wrong ones, now we're in trouble. And you can take a look at our draft and say, it hasn't been the greatest. What if we pick another Pumphrey? Now, I mean, I'm not saying that's happening. I have trust in this organization to do it. We obviously picked up guys like Barnett. I've seen them hit on some guys, but we've also pulled Pumphreys out of our asses too. This has been a move where I have a big time question mark on Howie, and it hasn't been that way in a long time. I know I talked about the Brandon Graham signing, and it felt emotional, and I hope it wasn't just because of the situation of him nailing the Super Bowl for us, and I hope it wasn't an actual just heart decision. But this one, letting go our best defensive end last year for a 2020 fifth? That's actually just like releasing him, in my opinion. I mean, it's to that level. It leans more towards that way than it does a good trade. Because the argument was, are we just going to let Howie Roseman give Michael Bennett away for free and let him walk? Or are you going to try and get an asset? We got an asset, but it's kind of like an irrelevant one. Could we have done better? Could we have kept him? Now, $7.2 million or whatever his salary cap was for this year, he wanted more. He was demanding more. He had, obviously, a very vocal opinion about it that he wanted to make more. So it would have been a sticky situation. It would have been a tough way to... It would have been a tough match, let's be real. Understanding where the Eagles are would have been a tough match to get done. But I am just really underwhelmed with this. I am really underwhelmed with what just happened with Howie Roseman. So, taking a look at his contract, I know he's got it was $7.2 million cap hit, and then next year it would be an 8. And you know, he's getting up there in age, but his production was key last year. I'm sorry. Our defensive line has taken a hit. Jernigan, Bennett, it's taken a hit. People want to talk about Barnett. They want to talk about Cox, obviously. But then I hear the names like Josh Sweat. And I'm not knocking him. I get he has a high upside and there was an injury involved. But can you compare that? Can you compare Josh Sweat, the name Josh Sweat, to what Jernigan and Michael Bennett did? Whether you like Michael Bennett or not, whether you think he's an ass for coming out and saying he wants more money, which I respect, but whether you think that or not, the dude balled last year. The guy was effective and he was very productive. And now he goes to the Patriots of all teams, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, I don't really care about his destination. I care about the return value. This one is weird, and I just feel odd about it. There's been a couple moves now for Howie that I've just did one of those two. Maybe when it comes to a contract extension for some of our linemen, Isaac. Now this one, the BG one, felt weird to me. And I hope I'm all wrong. I've always been told to trust Howie, and once we land someone big with all this free money right now that we're playing with, maybe I'll feel differently, and I know that. I know that this isn't just a move for a move. Howie has a vision right now, and until I see it executed, I just feel odd, though. I just feel odd, and that's just how it is. It's never been to this extreme with Howie. Every time something's happened, I'm like, okay, I get it, or I feel like we haven't gotten fleeced to this extent in a while either. No-brainer phenomenal move by the Patriots. I just feel like the Eagles got fleeced in this trade. But when you look at it from our perspective, it's, well, you were going to pretty much cut him anyway, so at least you got a fifth-rounder back. But this guy's productive. Don't tell me he has no value, because he has some. I know he's in the mid-30s here, but you just take a look at film last year and try and tell me he has no value. He has value. It doesn't feel right to me that I feel this way, because I've never really questioned Howie to the point that I have been now. But until I see the final product, I guess I just have to keep going with the flow, But I feel like the Eagles got fleeced in this draft, in this trade with the draft picks. We need to make sure that we get talent in this draft. Where we are cap-wise and all that, and especially after we make free agency moves, we need to make sure that we land talented players in the draft. Whether it's on the D-line, whether it's a back, whether it's a receiver, whichever way we go. Now, it's pretty clear that we're probably going with that defensive line in the draft. It's too deep to not. It's too deep to not, from my understanding, from everything that I read, from all the insiders. We're going to have to rebuild this front, because that's our bread and butter. And we just lost some pieces now. But I also hear other things out there when it comes to maybe Howard from the Bears. Coleman is out there. And obviously the big one, Le'Veon Bell. You keep hearing these names. I feel weird about this Michael Bennett trade. I thought we could have done better. I expected a little bit more out of Howie than a draft away fifth rounder. A 2020 fifth rounder? I'm sitting here scratching my head. I'm not going to buy that this was just to get rid. I mean, it is. It is just to get rid of Michael Bennett's salary for our cap. Yes, it is. But that return, that's ugly. It's an ugly one. And we just haven't seen Howie take an L like this in a while. But do you value it differently if we end up with a Le'Veon Bell? Does it value it differently if we end up with 3 running backs and a whole new system back there and somebody else and a new corner and a new linebacker, whatever way we go in free agency? I'm just spitballing off the top of my head, but will it change your opinion? I mean, for me, yeah, it would. I obviously have to see how this all plays out, and I'm not killing Howie because I know that the end isn't done yet. There's still a lot to be done, so I'm not killing him. But I'm questioning some moves that we have made. I'm curious to see where this salary cap money that we now freed up, where is that going? Are we going to spend it all on one running back? Is that worth it? Are we going to attack these pieces and go out and get guys like Howard or get guys like Coleman and of that nature and bulk up a few of those pieces? There's so many different ways to go. So let me know down below in the comment section how you feel on Howie Roseman's decision on sending Michael Bennett to the Pats for a 5th in 2020. And also giving up one of our 7ths. But is that really the difference maker here? No. It's what we got in return. And pretty much letting go one of the most productive defensive ends last year that helped get this defensive front back on the right track, to help this team get over that hump when they were struggling. It's a business. I get it. I respect it that he wants more money, but let me know your thoughts. I'll see you next time.